What's up, tubers? Tio here, Simplistic Fishing, coming back at you tonight to finish up our lake breakdown series for Palo Lake or Palo Reservoir, Lake Palo, whatever you want to call it. We're going to finish it up tonight. We're focused on the offshore stuff. Interesting lake. You know, there's parts of this lake that really have pretty much no offshore fishing at all. And then there's a huge section of this lake that has a ton of good stuff. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. Let's go check it out. Here we are back on Lake Palo or Palo Lake or Palo Reservoir, whatever you want to call it. We're back out here. Let's take a look at these offshore hotspots. If you missed the Google Earth video, we just did that. Go back and look at the lake breakdown playlist. I'll also put a link up here at the top so you can go see that and see what we found from the Google Earth side. So now it's time to switch over. I'm using my Navionics boating app for my mobile app. And really what we're looking at here is we're looking at areas that we can fish for offshore areas. So high percentage areas that are typically off the bank, right? You're gonna set a little bit further up off the bank. You're not really gonna be casting at the bank. You're gonna be more of what I call offshore. So let's just start over here, right down here by this little river that's coming in, or this creek that's coming in. Obviously you got some pretty good depth down in here in this creek as well, but right here on the edge, if you sit up right on the corner, that could be a really good spot to go look at if you can get back in here. And a lot of this stuff looked really shallow. There was some timber back in here and stuff like that, so you got to be really careful. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and just cover this one too, because there weren't too many offshore hotspots back here, but basically right here off the edge of this point could be good. You want to take a look at it. It's got that nice little deeper spot there before it comes up to shallow. I don't know if these spots would actually be worth going all the way back in there for. That kind of section of the lake there, it was very shallow, so I didn't see a lot of offshore stuff. In fact, when we were looking at it on Google Earth, hopefully you remember if you didn't see it, but basically there was no water back in here at all. So I was able to see everything that was out here and just didn't really see anything too special that really sparked my attention. And if I did, I would have had it marked it on the Google Earth stuff, not here on the Navionics boating app. So with that being said, let's go ahead and just stay on this right side and we'll work our way through the lake here. Next areas that I like, really, you've got the nice little creek channel coming through here, or the river channel. And I've always talked about it a lot. You know, you want to fish the areas where it's really steep and then it starts to gradually kind of peel off. So at the beginning of those turns and the end of those turns are usually good areas to go look at. You've also got a nice little flat that's out here. If you notice right up here, this is a big flat, right? You got a 15-foot flat that's basically out here. And right off the edge of it is the creek channel, which is right in here. So you may have a little bit of a ledge or something like that going on here. They could get up here and feed, drop back down, all that good stuff. So you're gonna wanna scan, you know, right around out here. So when you're doing this, you know, especially if you're new to offshore, make sure you're getting far enough out there. So you may think that you're out in the middle of the lake, but just pay attention to your contours and they'll really make you feel a lot more comfortable when you start doing this offshore stuff. All right, so let's move on over here. Let's go around this point. And you're like, why did you mark this point? Well, this is a really good rounded point that has some pretty good depth to it. If you look at it, it's gonna be pretty deep, right? It's probably gonna have some rocks and stuff like that. So pull off of a little bit and just see if you can find some fish out just a little bit deeper. You got some really good depth there, 19 foot. You got some good docks as well that are in some really good depth right there. Those two docks would definitely be docks that I would be targeting. In fact, I'd probably even go all the way down to this one. So those three right there are gonna be really good deep docks, and then you've got a really good deep point going on right there. Then we're going to pull back. Didn't see too much from an offshore standpoint down inside of that cove, but if I come back up here off of this arm, I'm sure this dock owner is going to love me, but they put that dock in a primo spot to find fish. So nail that dock, fish all around that dock, not just the dock, but around the point too. That's looking really good. I love how it just kind of eases its way up to being really deep. So right in here, right on the corner, I can see them building up there, and I can see them building up on that dock as well. So let's keep moving back. Let's see what else we can find back in here. I'm gonna touch the middle of the lake here really quick, but I'm gonna stay on that side that we were on. But notice here where you've got the creek channel swing coming through here, right? So it touched on that dock at the top. It came down here, and then now it makes this big turn right here. Well, this could be a really good area to fish, not only the inside where we have it marked, but also come out here to the outside and just look and see if you've got debris piles or anything like that that may be washed up right in here off of the edge. So that's definitely good spots to go look for. Now let's keep moving on down. Didn't see too much down that bank line. We're gonna come over here. We're getting more towards the bottom, if you're wondering where I'm at, about right in here. So when I get right in here, start to look at these. Here we go again. We've got a really good point that's got some really good depth to it. Notice how shallow it is right here, and then boom, all of a sudden it gets really deep. You can see how dark the contours get. So maybe right in here, there could be something right here in that area. You've also got a nice little rounded point here as well. That's really close, again, to that creek channel. If I zoom in, it's kind of hard to tell on this mobile app, but this is the main channel right here, and this point is very close to that channel. So we're gonna go back up, kind of look in the middle of the lake here really quick. Again, right here, this looks good. We've got a 25-foot hump that's out here. Summertime fishing for sure. You've got the creek channel that bends all around this hump. They're gonna set up in here, they're gonna feed up in here, stuff like that. Carolina rig, wobble heads, crankbaits, all that good stuff. This is gonna be a good deep spot to go look at. Now, once the thermocline sets in, that's gonna get knocked out pretty quickly, but definitely a good place to go look at. In the wintertime too, good place to go look. Let's keep moving up. I'm gonna just touch this one. That's another one of those creek channels. Notice there's a nice little ledge right here going on. So you're going from, what, 28 foot in here to about 40 something foot right in here. So you got a little ledge. Not sure how if they'll be out that deep, but definitely something to look at. Moving back in here, we've got another nice little point that's between these docks, and also very close to right where that creek channel swing. I know I'm just wearing you guys out with this creek channel, but that creek channel swings out right there in that area. Those docks are going to be good as well. Definitely something to look at. Let's move up. Now we're going to switch over to this other side. See what else we have in here. This is a nice little point as well. Notice how it has the gradual contours, and then boom, it goes into something really deep right in here. So right in that area. We move on down. We kind of see the same thing here. This is kind of where this really steep stuff starts to taper off and goes into the corner. It's also, if you look really closely, you're like, okay, there's got to be some type of a channel here or something. My guess is maybe a creek runs through here, and this is the creek swing or channel swing. So definitely a good spot right here too. Off that point could be good. And then we move back out here and we come out and we look. We're going to stay on the east side now, or the north side, but right here, nice little point. Look at that nice drop that's right there. Again, creek channel coming here, good drop right on the turn. That's pretty deep, 38 feet of water out in here, but up in here it's only 24, 25 foot, so not too bad up in there. We're gonna move on up, again, following, just kind of really looking at that creek channel, see if it touches anything, and boom, it does again. It touches it right here. So this is gonna be a primo point, probably a community hole. I would imagine that people fish a lot. There's gonna be a lot of rock there more than likely, and things like that. Washout, debris, fish are going to collect there, bait fish are going to collect there. It's just going to be a good area for people to be fishing for sure. Over here too, look at this one, man. This is a really good turn. This one turns and then bounces right off this point. So that point's going to be good for the same exact reasons that we've been talking about. Here's the inside of that turn. We talked about that one earlier. We come up here. Now this point, it doesn't look as good. It could be, just from a contour perspective though. It doesn't look as good. It does look like it gets pretty steep right in here, so maybe you got to get up a little bit closer and really fish around this point. But definitely something to look at. But if you look at the backside of these islands, they look really good. And why do they look good? Again, because we're talking, I don't know if I'll be able to get the contour in just right for you to see it, but we're talking creek channels again. So here's a creek channel coming up and bouncing off the backside of that island. So if they can find some stuff to get in some cover and things like that to hide back in here, they're definitely going to be ambushing bait. Same type thing here. River channel coming in. It comes and it hits right off the top side of that island, the north side of that island. So that would be a good area in there to look at. Then we're going to come on up here, see what else we can find. It starts getting a little bit shallow up here, so you got to be careful. But you got a nice little hump that's out here. I don't remember on Google Earth if we saw any rocks on that hump or anything like that, but something to look at. Another good point that's right out here to take a look at. Of course, bridges, you always want to work around the bridge pillars. find those bridge pillars, find those deep spots. Oh, that's not even a bridge pillar. I thought it was. This is the deep spot basically right there around the bridge where the old creek channel used to be, and those are usually money spots. We have a spot like that on Hubbard where the main river comes all the way down to where it used to at the dam, and it's still kind of washed out there. The fish still collect there, even though that's not where the primary dam is. It runs in just like this, and this is a really good spot for us, so I imagine it's probably going to be a good spot on your lake as well. I don't know if you can get back in here now that I see this, if you can get underneath that bridge. If you can get underneath the bridge, you got a decent little point that's over here, and then you've got, of course, this back in here. If we get way back here, we got more creeks coming in. You've got a nice little bend that's up there too that you can take a look at. All right, let's look at these. We got two more. Look at this spot right in here. I believe this was a power plant area or something like that. And I think what I read earlier, of course, I guess we covered it on the Google Earth stuff, but it does have a power plant that runs every once in a while, but not enough to heat the water. So you can't fish right in here where it looks really good and really deep, but you can fish around these points. I believe we marked them on the Google Earth side, but this point especially, I couldn't tell on the Google Earth side. All I could tell was there was rock there. Couldn't tell that one really just kind of tapers out. There's not much to it. This one has a really sharp break to it, so this side's probably going to be a pretty good side to go look at. Plus, if you look really closely, it looks like this side, it kind of bails out over here and starts to flow out. So definitely something to look at. Let's look down here by these docks. Cut this dock right here. I marked this dock. Why did I mark this dock? Just because the way it sets out. Look how it sets out off of that lip. So it's really shallow, but then it comes out. Those two docks are pretty isolated. I like the way they set up. And then that takes us back here to the back where we already talked about. So that covers us for Palo Pinto Lake. If you haven't already, please go out to our website, simplisticfishing.com. We have got this lake plus 100 plus lakes in Texas and several other lakes across the United States and the Southeast. So definitely go take a look at it. We'll take all these waypoints, we put them on an SD card for you, you plug it into your graph, you do the import, and off you go. It will change the way you fish. It breaks down the lake for you, allows you to really hone in on your patterns, gonna make you a lot more effective on the water, and hopefully put you on some fish. Until next time, guys, I hope you catch your PB. Take it easy.